like I said, socioculturally.
Do you think it's wrong then that Bollywood or certain people in Bollywood want to ape what Hollywood does and how Hollywood operates?
No, I don't judge anything when it comes to creativity. I don't think we can put a block or a doctrine on what is creative, what is correct, or what is incorrect. Because as long as something that's created finds its audience, the fact remains that it has touched somebody somewhere. So rather than judge that what is imitation or what is aping, it's just a question of, I think it finds its audience. As I was saying, with the world getting smaller, you do find a lot of merging or a lot of blurring of what was probably earlier perceived as obvious divides. So there is a lot of that happening, I think, in several areas, not purely cinema, but that is the obvious medium. Music is another obvious medium. So you do see a lot of Western instrumentalization coming into our music, our own movie music, and it's cool if people do connect with that, they enjoy it. It means it's all good and it works.
When you attend events, showbiz events outside India, maybe in London or Los Angeles, it gets the Indian press very agitated. They comment on what you're wearing or what you're not wearing. You're not conducting yourself properly on an American TV show. Why is it, do you think, that the press is so fascinated by that? And is that a new phenomenon in India?
The negativity?
No, the fascination,
That's something you and I will have a talk about. You tell me, why does media sometimes get negative? That's something that I can't seem to be able to put a finger on. But I'm also told by people within the fraternity that it goes with the territory. There is no reasoning or no explanation to it, because I haven't been able to put a finger on as to why. Then again, if it means people's responses, because I do have, I have my own site and I have well-wishers and fans world over, and it's not always gushing and all positive. So you do get, I get very interesting mail where they literally chat with you like friends. So you do get a positive, you do get the input, you get a lot of advice, thank you all, and there'll be a lot of even, very often, incredible encouragement.
With what they call this ash bashing in the press, do you find that you're able to rise above it, or does it get you down sometimes?
Well, I must confess that yes, initially it did sting. It did sting bad, because I would keep saying, look, I mean, I could do with a lot more encouragement in the written word, because I'm really here happy to represent us as a people. And, it wouldn't be, it hurts if your enthusiasm is dampened and you're all out. You're really putting yourself all out for not just me individually, but for all of us, because me individually is happening anyways. I mean, really, there's no need for all this when my life is going on. I mean, I am working on those assignments. It's happening on its own. I have a life that has a life of its own. But when all of this is happening, and you actually take the time out to take on more assignments, simply because you're really enthusiastic about, like I said, catalyzing the movement. Initially, yes, it did sting, but then, like I keep underlining, with the response of the real people out there that you received, it's just so overwhelming. It just makes it so worth it that it way overrides all of this.
Bride and Prejudice, that was your first English language film. How much difference did that make, do you think, to your profile in the West?
Well, it's been talked about, it's been written about. You're here talking to me about it, so I guess it must have definitely struck something somewhere. In terms of, I was absolutely proud to do that as my first English film, because, well, it was an interesting combination of working with a British filmmaker like Gurinder Chadha, and that's definitely how she regards herself. She's a British filmmaker. She has the origins in India. She was making a movie that was a perfect merging of the two, where it is based on Pride and Prejudice. And then again, it was talking about an Indian family. She did want to pay her homage to Bollywood by bringing in the musical aspect of our film fraternity into this movie. And I play a proud Indian girl. So it was a perfect combination of so many factors that I completely connected with. And I was happy for this to be my first vehicle in the English medium.
How different was it working on an English film as opposed to working in Bollywood or doing a Hindi film?
Firstly, for me, every movie is an experience by itself. Like I said, I've worked in different languages, and even working in the same language, even working in, say, Hindi, and I'm sure every actor, even who just works in English movies for that matter, each experience is individual. Whether it's English, Hindi, Tamil, or Bengali, language does define your body language and your acting style to a large extent. And that does change with every language you perform in. So when I did a South Indian film, like when that was dubbed in Hindi, it looked way too loud in terms of performance because the body language is a lot louder, it's a lot more expressive. When you compare Hindi and English, yes, in English, less is more. It's definitely a lot more subtle. It's what you would relate to more natural because that's the way you speak in English. Indians as a people are a lot more expressive. The language itself makes you hands, eyes. So to you, in our movies, we look louder in our performances because that's the way we are as a people. That's the way we emote. It is more, it's more expressive. And from your perspective, it's more in the face. So there is that little difference, definitely, in when you work in different languages. Your way of expressing is less in English, and it's probably a little more up in the Indian languages.
Do you think here in India, cinema can really be an agent of social change? Because in rural India, like in a lot of countries, people are very traditional, have very traditional values. If they're looking at certain Bollywood films now, they're being confronted with issues that they may find difficult. People having premarital sex, not arranged marriages, that kind of thing. What impact do you think does that have on rural India or people who subscribe to traditional values?
I'm sure this has been a constant dialogue, and it's not a today thing in terms of how much cinema impacts the social setup of any country or any culture. There's constant dialogue, and there'll be reams and reams of pages and pages written in the media where you'll have this constant, whether there's too much violence, does that work here and in the West? Whether, does that affect youngsters? Are people getting ideas, and all these, when there are crazed movies or when there are guns and when there's blood? And that's why the whole ratings thing, I guess, you definitely do have in the West and would be great here too, which there is current dialogue about rating our movies. But in terms of cinema impacting life, I think there's a vicious cycle there where there's a constant art imitates life and vice versa. So on some levels, a lot of cinema imitates life as is, and I guess this is really, you will say is relative to filmmakers, where there are filmmakers who want to use this medium to impact and to bring about change, would make cinema likewise. It's like the newspapers, like magazines, like the shows you'd conduct. I guess on a lot of your shows you talk about life as is, and a lot of the shows the talk would be about how we can possibly merge or bring about change. So this is also, that's why I guess it definitely is a part of the media from itself.
As you think of your career and how it develops as an actress, how interested are you in the Indian directors who've done well overseas? People like